draws you in, boy. You can't help yourself. You get so close, you almost feel her. But then she doesn't look back, and you're all so confused. Whoa. You feel lost, boy, and you don't understand. And you can't have a boy, but the truth is, no one can. And don't you forget it. Just be careful, 'cause she's breaking your heart. Breaking your heart. She's breaking your heart. Breaking your heart. That was a song called Heartbreaker, and it's by today's guest, Karen Chung. So Karen is a friend I met on the open mic scene in Montreal, and someone who I found very easy to talk to over the years, someone who has good ideas of places to play and other activities we can do, from pub trivia to Scrabble, which I went from thinking is mostly a game of luck to a game of skill, where she certainly has a lot more skill than me. Otherwise, I'd say the key difference between Karen and myself, I like to really attach on to one open mic, pretend it's this magical place of fame, where she really goes out there and explores lots of places. But today she's dabbling into the water of video podcasts, so I can't wait to hear what Karen has to say. She's someone who, again, attends a lot of open mics. She has a literature background. She took up playing music in Manchester, England, lives in Montreal. There's a lot to say. Why don't we give it to Karen to really tell the story? So Karen, I just gave all these strangers on YouTube a bit of an introduction to you, but how would you do your elevator pitch for who you are as a singer-songwriter and the work you've done and why people should listen to you?
I would describe my style of music as indie folk pop with a hint of soul. So there are a lot of different genres in there. I would say my music, or I try to make my music as relatable as I can. It is usually about heartbreak. I juxtapose that with a upbeat, kind of catchy melodies, if I do say so myself. And I really like that blend and that balance. Yeah, I think I've taken a lot of influence from indie music that I've been listening to since I was in my late teens, as well as Motown, because
Right.
Motown is a lot about heartbreak as well, but it's very catchy and groovy and you can really dance to it. And I've
Right.
always
I think we
really liked that balance.
we
Sorry.
discussed at one point that This Old Heart of Mine was a shared favorite song.
Yeah. And I did attempt to cover a bit.
Yes.
I don't know if it's good or not, but
That'll be a topic of conversation a bit later. Why don't we talk about some of your signature songs? So one thing people will reliably hear when they go to your shows is this song called Heartbreaker. You did a little music video for it. Why don't you tell us about the story behind the music?
yeah. When I first started to write that song, I was thinking that I really wanted initially to write about a temptress, like a sort of femme fatale character, because I thought the idea of this woman having seductive power over men was really cool. And I thought, oh, I'd love to write a song about that. That's why it's called Heartbreaker. It's about breaking hearts, right? But I think I had a hard time writing that, to be honest. And I realized I really needed to draw from my own experiences to write my music. And basically, after a bout of heartbreak, I thought, why don't I just make Heartbreaker into a song about heartbreak between both people, and where one person or one party seems to be the heartbreaker because of their actions or inactions. Um, it kind of flips the roles over, you know, it kind of subverts the role of, oh, that woman's a heartbreaker. Actually, you're breaking her heart as well. And I think that's actually quite a common thing in life, basically. This lack of communication that makes people think, oh, they're doing this, they're hurting me, but they have their own story as well, you know?
If you're a famous musician and you have a signature song that's sort of picked by the radio, it goes to #1, and you're like, okay, I have to play that in all my concerts. We are not yet famous. So for you, how does Heartbreaker come to be your song? Because there's not something like the radio telling you it has to be that one. You've clearly chosen that.
Yeah, I chose that because I mean, usually when I write my songs, I tend to come up with the melody first. And when it came to Heartbreaker, I came up with the melody first and I instantly liked it. I thought, great, I have this hook. I can write a song with this. And it got really stuck in my head. And then, yeah, I showed it to friends and it got stuck in their heads. And when I started playing it at open mics, people really responded to that song in particular. They were dancing to it, singing along to it. So that's how I knew that that song was the single, as you would say.
Right. And someone did, is it a rap cover of it? Or how would you describe it?
Yeah, so this cover is done by Mags, who's from the trio Strange Fruits, which is a Montreal-based hip-hop trio. Um, I mean, I asked her myself, how would you describe it? I think she said it was like lo-fi trip hop or something. I can't remember the exact words,
Right.
but there is a hip hop slash rap kind of also mellow, groovy feel to it. And yeah, I have it as my ringtone
Oh,
because
amazing.
I really enjoyed her cover of it. There's a certain grooviness to it that a different one from mine. You know, mine is a bit more folksy. In the recording, there's more classical influence in it. So yeah. So.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people feel a lot of pressure to be original out there and feel that, art is about creating your own stuff. But honestly, for a lot of us, if you do your own version of what we do, it's the greatest honor. And it sounds like Karen can attest to that. So I know absolutely nothing about any of those genres you just mentioned. That's I think going to be a running theme in my interviews. You've been a bit more adjacent to the hip hop community. You did some work with a performer named Shades Lawrence. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, Shades Lawrence is a friend of mine, and she reached out to me a few years back saying that she had a beat and she had the lyrics and she wanted to collaborate with me. And it's kind of funny because usually when I try to collaborate with other musicians or singer-songwriters, it usually kind of fails. We don't end up with anything, really.
Right. Are you able to put that failure into words? Like, why do you think it doesn't work usually?
I don't know. I don't know if it's something to do with me. I'm just not that great at working with people, or maybe um, I don't know, to be honest.
Okay, so
But I
what
know,
worked with the Shades thing?
yeah, I was gonna say, I know that with Shades, I felt that it worked. Maybe partly because we were blending two genres together in a way. Just me, what I was bringing to the table, along with her and her rap and her hip hop style. Um,
Right.
and
So what
and
were you writing the songs for the melodic, for the chorus, or however you describe it?
yeah, exactly. That's the thing. So her area of specialty is more the lyrics and the beats, the rapping. And she wanted someone who could help her with the more musical side of it, someone who can sing and come up with a melody or hook for her track. Um, so I said, yeah, let's do this. And she'd come up with all the words already. We worked on the words for the chorus together. I sang something for her, and she said, "Oh, I like that." Then we played around, jammed. Then we had this unified song that was good. It all worked out together. Then we recorded it, and then we did it a second time. So we have 2 tracks together. But yeah, that just worked somehow. That we had different specialties and different things, and we put that together to make I think, a strong collaboration.
Yeah. So I was trying to review some of your other tracks, and I came across this title that I'm not sure you ever mentioned in any of the sets I saw, called Apocalyptic Love Song, which, I don't know, seemed quite provocative. I used to have what I call apocalyptic anxiety. It's not a scary song, but tell us about that one.
Yeah, in case anyone was wondering, it was written pre-pandemic. It was written, it was one of the first songs that I've written. And because I was writing a batch of heartbreak songs, I thought maybe it'd be nice to write a more optimistic love song, even though apocalyptic is, that in itself is not optimistic, of course. But the idea of someone still being there for you even when the world is ending, I thought, oh, that's a romantic idea. And I just thought, oh, I'll write that.
Like, this is how art doesn't imitate life, because no, that is not something I don't know, I want it and I don't want it, but as a painting or a song, that is beautiful. Can you tell us a bit about the emergence of your musical style? So you have a uke with a bit of a homemade component. You have a unique voice, which I think sounds like if Amy Winehouse swallowed Buddy Holly. Tell us about how those things came to be.
I didn't know that you thought that. That's the first time
I actually
heard
told you
you.
the first day that I met you, you sounded like Amy Winehouse, but I might not have mentioned the swallowed Buddy Holly thing.
No, you definitely did not. Yeah, it's interesting to hear what people say about your own voice or your own music, because it's hard to hear yourself sometimes. I'm still curious about the whole Buddy Holly thing.
Oh no, well that's just like the hiccupy thing.
Yeah. Oh, I
It's like
see.
a pop thing, right?
Oh, I see. Yeah, that was not deliberate. I don't know how it came to be honest, because it came quite quickly. Uh, I had my only musical experience beforehand was playing classical piano from the age of 11 to 14. But I'd always wanted to, I would still listen to rock songs, folk songs, and I always wondered how people did that. How do you do that? How do you learn to do that? Because I just learned the technical stuff.
Did you like classical music?
Yeah, I did. I did as well. Yeah. I love pretty much every genre, really. I'm just more picky about whether, whether I find the artist good or not, regardless of the genre.
Because I just found switching into guitar and folk and rock, it was a rebirth of sorts, because with classical, it was so perfectionist. I felt like I was just doing it to accomplish something, and I only really started enjoying music when I started playing the simpler stuff where the theory is more in your face and you know what you're doing.
Yeah. I mean, I enjoy both, but in different ways, I think. But with the singer-songwriter stuff, it was just very accidental. I asked my brother, hey, can I have a ukulele for my birthday? Because I thought, I can't handle a guitar. I've tried a guitar and I found it painful. And I thought maybe a ukulele is doable. I'll figure it out. So then, yeah, on my birthday, I got my ukulele and I learned a few chords. And from then on, I just started writing music. I was like, 4 chords, got it. I can write songs now. couldn't even bother to learn the rest in terms of ukulele. Just like write songs. And I just started singing. I didn't really try to copy, the influences aren't deliberate. I think it's just a mixture of everything that I've listened to from classics like Motown I've mentioned before, 60s music. And I love every decade of music, 80s music. And yeah, I've listened to, like I mentioned previously, when I was in my teens, I really got into the whole indie rock, indie folk scene. So that means like listening to Feist or Camera Obscura. I don't know, just like so many different, and and Montreal has a huge indie rock music scene as well, like Arcade Fire as well. So I think it's just like a blend of everything, and also classical too. That kind of influence. I often imagine like violin harmonies when I write my songs, or like a symphony orchestra.
In Heartbreaker, towards the middle, when they start to add some other instruments, are those keyboards or are those real players?
Everything's not everything, sorry. The percussion was keyboards, but the violin and the trumpet, that was real.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So it was you and two other musicians doing that, or how many people did?
Yeah, it was Anna Maria from the Yellow Door and Gareth from the Yellow Door as well. Um, and yeah, so Gareth, he plays violin, and he was really, really helpful. And I would just hum something and he would just play it. And he also gave me some suggestions, and we put some violin harmonies together as well to make it more dramatic,
Yeah.
And yeah.
Well, it caught me off guard because I'm so used to hearing the live version that I really appreciated hearing the studio version again.
Oh, cool.
A whole other level. And you built your own pickup for the ukulele?
Not really. I bought some, I don't even know if it was me or it was my brother, who somebody bought some kind of pickup, because it was hard to play in front of a microphone all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel the sound, the sound doesn't amplify as well. And I'm always paranoid about knocking the uke against the microphone. So I got this pickup that's meant for guitar, and I just taped it to my ukulele, and somehow it works. And
well,
open
I
mic
think
hosts
adds to the legend.
It's not pretty because you can see it, and I put tape all over it, but whatever.
No, that makes it even better, in my opinion. So you, I have the sense that you started this songwriting career around the same time you were doing a creative writing master's. And I wonder if those hobbies converged, if you try to be I don't know, a literary songwriter at all, if that pretension seeps into your lyrics.
I guess I'd have to ask first what you mean by a literary songwriter.
Yeah, well, that's kind of up to you. I mean, I'm in the camp that the Bob Dylan Nobel Prize made sense, for instance, because there's ambition in his lyrics that you're not seeing in most other songwriters. But there are others who what they do is close enough to poetry. Joni Mitchell, Paul Simon, Leonard Cohen.
Yeah, I think for myself, I started music just after my creative writing. And I think I kind of separated the two for me personally. And when I started writing songs, it was actually guided more by melody. I realized that every song that I decided to write, I always made sure to come up with a hook for it first, and then I would write the song around that. So most of the time, my songs are more guided by melody, and there are a couple songs that I wrote lyrics to that were more poetic, and I still think that worked. At least I tried. And for me, that was more of those were more songs that told a story. And I had thought about writing, and I had started writing songs where, you know, I was influenced by mythology. So I had written, but I haven't performed it anywhere yet because I'm quite self-conscious about it.
Greek mythology?
About a siren. Yeah, about a siren, for example, or another song that I wrote. It's kind of set in like, I don't know, some era several hundred years ago. So yeah, and in that sense, I made it literary.
Yeah, but you know, we might expect these hobbies to go together, but they really don't. So I read that Art Garfunkel writes a lot of poetry, and yet he never wrote one of the Simon and Garfunkel songs, and pretty much in a solo career has never written his own song. So this is not a guy who lacks words or the ability to express himself, but for whatever reason, he just felt he could never write a song. So I'm glad you do both. Even if you feel the two skills don't always converge, it just means you have two talents. Uh,
Thanks.
but to go back to what we hinted at the beginning with the idea of doing a Motown cover, one thing that surprises people about me when they find out I do singing or theater or public speaking is they say, but aren't you a shy person? Like you're really hard to start a conversation with. You don't seem to be any good at making friends. And it's just always been part of my personality that I am shy in social interactions, and I'm not shy at all when it comes to performance-based activities. And maybe it's because with performance-based activities, it's like you have permission to be expressive, so it's okay. But you're someone who I think in a different way can come across as really not shy and then suddenly say, I'm shy, I don't do this. And I think you said for you, it was particularly for doing cover songs. So I was just wondering if you had any more you could say about that.
I mean, to be honest, I'm shy all the time. I think actually I didn't know that you didn't think that I was shy, that I didn't come across as shy. But because I always had this idea of myself being constantly shy everywhere, anywhere. I remember being you know, in school, I was too scared to raise my hand if I knew the answer because I just didn't want people to look at me. The very idea of that scared the hell out of me. And I think and I'm definitely shy when it comes to expressing myself on stage. And I think for both cover and also originals, I'm terrified every time I go on stage. But you kind of have to fight through that or face that just to express yourself in the best way that you know how, you know.
Right. So the moment you decided you wanted to start writing songs, did you also just feel bound in this moment? Well, I have to perform them live?
Kind of, because it all happened so quickly. I wrote as soon as I had 3 songs written. And I also started, I didn't really know what open mics were before. I didn't really understand what they were. And I was just randomly looking up some website of some pub. This is back in England. And they said, oh, on Sunday nights, they have open mic nights and you can play 3 songs. And I was like, interesting. And then when I had my first 3 songs written, I'm like, maybe I should try it. Oh no, I can't. But maybe I can't. And my friends convinced me to. And then I was like, what the hell? I'll do it. I didn't eat for like 10 hours beforehand because I was so sure I was gonna throw up. I had never really sung in public or even in front of people's faces before. So yeah, I think I just sang in front of 1 or 2 people max, and that was it. And I just kind of threw myself into the deep end. And yeah, I don't know, I just felt, you know, there is it's funny because when it comes to creative writing, I really don't show that to people. I find that so vulnerable and I don't show it. But when it comes to music, I feel the need to show that somehow. And yeah, so I was inspired to do that.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to ask some quick non-musical questions. So I don't know if it was England or earlier, but you have more than one connection to pub culture, which is that you're a real trivia addict. Do you want to share some of your thoughts on what makes the ideal pub trivia setup?
Ooh, that's a good question. I I'm not too picky, honestly, about pub trivia, as long as the questions are not super specific. For example, I went to a pub not too long ago, well, a couple of years ago now, I guess, pub quiz. And each category was 10 questions. Sometimes it's 5 questions, which I think is more reasonable. But this one was 10 questions and it was all about sharks. So we basically got 0 out of 10 because we're not marine biologists, you know? So I think my favorite pub questions are the ones that, even if you're not a marine biologist or some kind of specialist, you can still figure it out because it's a kind of puzzle. You know, you just have to use your brain to figure that out. Mm-hmm. Hence why I've enjoyed doing certain pub quizzes like Pub St. Pierre, you know, that I've gone to with you, and because those you can actually kind of figure them out on your own.
Yeah, so if you live in Montreal, go to Pub St. Pierre for possibility again. So and finally, regardless of whether or not your music keeps rising on the charts, there's another worthy celebrity in your household. Would you be able to introduce us to this celebrity?
Yeah, this one's my goldfish. Her name is Superfish, and I've had her for, I think it'll be 20 years by September. Yeah, for a very long time. And I don't really know how long goldfish are supposed to last, but I'm not I have to admit I'm not the best caretaker of goldfish. So I think she's pretty super in that way. She's, you know, she's been alone for a very long time as well. So let me just show her. Oh, she's hiding in a lobster.
Oh,
Can
yes,
you see?
I see the tail, yes.
She's coming out, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, do you see her better now?
Yeah. She's a beauty. I don't know what an elderly goldfish looks like, but she certainly doesn't look like it.
Yeah.
Does she have a favorite song?
I actually have a half-written song about her.
Okay.
And and the speaker is, so it's from her perspective, like she's the speaker. So it goes, I this, I that. You know, first person narrative. And it's basically a song about her questioning life and her existence and why she has to eat her own poop to survive.
Oh dear. Well, that's Karen, I was wondering if you could play us off with one of your songs.
So this song is called Let Me Fall. Again, it's about heartbreak. How original. And it's about again about one person being too scared to be in a relationship and the other person just trying to convince them and tell them, even though it's really, really scary, it's still worth it, basically. Okay. Don't speak. Don't say a word at all. Hush, please. Your words mean nothing right now. I know what you said, but things don't have to be that way. I know that you're scared of honey. Don't let it stop you now. Let me fall down into your arms again. Lay your head down next to mine tonight. I'd rather have loved and lost than to never loved at all. So hold your arms so deep, and let me fall now, let me fall down into your arms again. Lay your head down next to mine tonight, and don't shrink away from my touch, and don't let this moment pass by, and don't give up before you try, and don't let this go to waste. Let me fall down into your arms again. Lay your head down next to mine tonight. Oh, let me fall down into your arms again and again. Lay your head down next to mine tonight.
Well, Karen Chung, that was great. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right, well, that was Karen Chung. I hope you enjoyed today's interview, and I look forward to bringing you a lot more. Subscribe to my channel to check out my analyses of music I'm listening to and more of these interviews. I'm Zach. This is Ludwig von B. See you next time.